Hello, what's up guys, I'm Kyle from KGR, and this is the S.H. Figuarts Jiraiya Exclusive Edition. Now, this guy was San Diego Comic Con exclusive, but there were a few other places that you could get this as well. Currently, he's still available at Big Bad Toy Store, so I'll have a link down below if you want to order this guy. And at one point, you could have gotten him from P Bandai, but the way I got my figure was I went to the Tamashii Nations store in New York. I was already there, like, seeing a Broadway show, so I took a chance, and he was there, so I bought him immediately. Now, this is mostly the same figure as the one that was released in 2018, just with a better color palette, as well as better faces being painted on, and with one exclusive face. And for a while, that figure was pretty expensive, but now that we got a much better version, this is probably going to be the one to get. We're going to compare him to the original Jiraiya, the classic Naruto, as well as Minato, because why not? But let's take a look at the box real quick. So we got Jiraiya in this bubble display saying exclusive edition. I'm going to pretend that says Jiraiya because I can't read. Then we got Naruto Shippuden, exclusive edition, and Tamashii Nations Bandai. Then we got a good pose of Jiraiya right here with the more like paintbrush art that you see on the regular modern Naruto figures. On the side, you see the same thing printed here, but with a different pose. Same thing with this guy over here. And then on the back, we are gonna have a couple of different poses, as well as him being next to Naruto. So, which is really nice to see because when the original version came out in 2018, we didn't have any classic Naruto. It was only Shippuden Naruto, which is still good, but we're living in a better world now. We're doing good. But you can tell this one's from Tamashii Nations because of this little thing right here. And then the bottom shows him with a different art. And then the top shows just S.H. Figuarts' little description in general. And a nice window display on top so you can get some nice light coming in from the top. So, I guess that's what you expect out of S.H. Figuarts packaging, I guess. Let's open them up and play with them for a little bit. Now, let me know in the comments, how do you feel about this being just a reissue of the same figure? Because, personally, I'm a little mixed on it. Like, I guess they perfected the figure, or they're really happy with them, or else they would have just made an all-new one anyway, but okay, a color palette and a different face. Cool. It's better than what they did with Madara, I guess. But let's slide this open, and there he is. Now, the packaging on this one is much wider in comparison to the original. Let me grab that real quick. So here's the original packaging. So you can tell it's a lot thinner. Like, it's not as wide. And the only real difference you see is that one face. So it's like, huh? Okay, fine. Sure. So let's get that out of the way for the most part, but we need this guy. Never mind. Let's open him up, and he has a little bit of the plastic wrapping around his stuff. He even got like hard plastic around his hair. Okay. Neat. Now that that's out of the way, let's get a closer look at Jiraiya himself. The colors are very vibrant. He looks really great. The face looks fantastic. The printing on his headband looks really good as well. The paint apps on his little scroll on his back, there's not really any like paint bleeding or anything. It overall looks really great. I can partially understand why they didn't make a brand new figure. Like, this already looks so good. But part of me can't help but wonder, like, what a better Jiraiya could have looked like. Because I thought the Itachi already looked pretty good, and then they really cooked with the new one for Naruto Top 99. So, I don't know. It's weird. I'm not gonna lie. So since it's the exact same figure as the previous one, I've already played with this many moons ago and haven't touched it in over 5 years. So with this guy, he's gonna separate his arms from his shoulder up here, which isn't too much of a pain to get in and out from what I remember. And I'm happy that he's in a pose I'm probably gonna put him in anyway. But I think my biggest gripe with him, honestly, is the fact that you have to take this part off of his hands and put them on each one. I feel like if they actually made a remade version of this figure, they wouldn't do that. They would just keep it on there because that's annoying. Why would you do that? And his figure was already $90 anyway, so how much money could you really save? Like, come on. I'm looking at the two Rasengan pieces, and I'm noticing that the original one looks slightly more translucent. I can't exactly tell if it's the same sculpt. I think it is actually. Yeah, this is the same sculpt. I feel like for photo ops, the one that's less translucent overall looks better. But it's so weird seeing that. And if you want, you can take it off his hand. So, neat. But let's take a good look at some of the faces directed side by side to make it really worth grabbing the newer one versus the older one. Like, here's the two shouting faces compared to each other. Like, the eyes are definitely much bigger on the older one. And at the time, it looked fine, but you could definitely tell how much better the quality has gotten over the years between these two. Like, it's only a 5-year difference, but look at that. That is beautiful. And then we got the winking face, and I've also noticed how you can see how there's an outline around his eyebrows, while you don't see that on the original. But even then, the original Shippuden Naruto doesn't even have that on his eyebrows. So part of me wishes they would remake the original Naruto, or at least the original Shippuden Naruto, to give him that better attention to detail that the other figures are starting to have now. Because even though, let's pretend that this matched the animation style closer to what the original Naruto and Shippuden did, this is what the quality that we would expect out of modern anime, like with Boruto, which, by the way, let me know in the comments, how do you feel about Boruto? I'm actually currently watching it right now. I think the show is fine. It's not a bad show. I don't see it as exciting as Shippuden because of its great story beats. But for a Naruto story that I don't know already, it's scratching that itch. I think the show is fine. So, if you're a Boruto hater, okay, I understand. Oh, filler. That's how mostly the anime is. The show's fine. I think it's fine. Now, comparing these two faces, this is different. They're going for two completely different expressions. This one is more grinning and, like, I don't want to say being cocky, while this one looks more angry. So, even though they look similar, these are two completely different sculpts. So, it's interesting that they replaced that. Very interesting. Part of me wishes that it was going more for an angry face, but this is still fine too. I like it. Then this is our exclusive face, so I guess that's necessary for the newer modern Naruto figures. Okay, that's fine. And then when it comes to this is the newer version, this is the older version. I think the newer version has slightly thinner, like, bolding, like when it comes to its font, but overall, they both look great. Like if you wanted to tell me which one looks better over the other, I guess the newer one on a technicality, but okay. These two arms look exactly the same. I think it's just his red cloak is the difference when it comes to, like, his body paint. Like, that's it. Now that I'm done comparing the itty bitty stuff on the accessories, let's compare the figures themselves and see how they are. So here he is next to the original Jiraiya. And when it comes to the paint job on their cloaks, the original one goes for more of a darker style, which I've seen some of the newer S.H. Figuarts Naruto figures kind of go for that. So this would technically blend in a little bit better in that way. However, the new one, even though it does have the more vibrant colors on his cloak, it also does add some shading onto it, so it can blend in really well with your modern collection, especially with the better face paints. Now, I haven't checked eBay listings recently on, like, what these guys are going for now, at least the older ones. Part of me hopes that it goes for cheaper because you would want to upgrade to the newer version, but if this one's a little bit more out of your budget and you can find this one for cheap, then you won't go wrong with going with either one. I got both because I'm a psychopath and I want to have every Naruto S.H. Figuarts in the collection. I just can't fit them all on my shelf, so a good chunk of them just go in the basement. Which is honestly the story for this guy. I got him, I want to say, earlier this year. Yeah, I think I got it in, like, January of this year. And I just left it in the basement just because I already had a Jiraiya. I didn't need to open a new one, but now I want to because we're getting newer figures and they all look nice. So let's make them all look nice and plus content. But let me know in the comments, which one do you like better? Because, I don't know. I kind of like the hair on the old one when it comes to its color. But this one just screams much cleaner aesthetics. Now here he is next to the original Naruto, which of course looks fantastic. He looks really good. And now we have him next to his old student Minato, which he's significantly taller because it didn't change the scaling on Jiraiya at all. Like, they changed Minato's, but not Jiraiya's. So is this the proper scale to them? I don't know. I haven't watched Shippuden in I want to say close to 10 years. I don't remember anymore. And I guess while I'm here he is next to the Shippuden Naruto. At least a standard one. And this might be a little bit hard to tell on camera, but his eyebrows aren't like outlined or anything on the original Naruto. So it's kind of weird seeing that. And also, Naruto has more like strokes through his spiked hair pieces, and Jiraiya doesn't have that, so it would have been nice to have an updated version to include those like strains of hair like within his spikes. But overall, they still look really good next to each other. And also, while we're here, let's show him next to what he could have seen if he... Am I allowed to talk about spoilers? Let me know in the comments, do you care if I get into spoilers at all? Because the show is over 10 years old. We mostly know what happens to Jiraiya. It's sad, but what you gonna do? But Jiraiya would have been proud seeing this. Which also brings into question, do you think they should make a modern Jiraiya with soft goods? No. I think him looking plastic like this looks perfect. I don't know what soft goods could do to it, really. I understand him doing it with the Naruto, but Jiraiya does not need that. Like, he's completely fine without it. But when it comes to swapping out his parts, first up, you gotta take his shoulders off. Okay, cool. And then we're gonna put his arms on. They're not clicking at all. Yeah, they should have updated this figure. Oh, I see why it happened. Okay, so this piece right here, this just floats, okay? So, like, you gotta, like, really press it down to make sure that this can properly connect. Oh, that's annoying. I don't like that. And also, you have that hinge right here to, like, extend the butterfly joint. And then you have that giant gap right there. Tamashii Nations, you could have made a brand new Jiraiya. You should have made a brand new Jiraiya. That said, do you think they actually will? Because if they do, I'll buy the character again for the third time. Why not? Also, I'm trying to put this on and that just slides off. Again, newer Tamashii Nations figures are so much better. I don't know why they went with this. I don't know why they thought this is a good idea. Oh, I finally got it to connect. Oh, sweet. Thank you. Now let's get the shoulder back on. Ah, crap! So far, I think if you want a Jiraiya figure, and I accidentally took off his neck. Oh, goodness gracious. If you want a Jiraiya figure, sure, this one's fine if you want to keep him in the crossed arms pose and you just want to keep that on your shelf, that's fine. But playing with him? No. No, this is painful. I don't know how long it took to get the one arm on. Now I gotta do the other. Okay, I think I found a secret. So, the way you do it, you extend the arm out, okay, like, or shoulder, and then do it from like his chainmail, his wrist, because if you do it from here, you can accidentally take that out, which we don't want that. So you do it from here, put it in there, and you pray. Okay, that's in there. We're safe. No, it isn't. Okay, that felt like a more satisfying click. I think we're okay now. Can we put his head back on? Man, he sure looks good, but man, he's not fun to play with. But when you extend that butterfly joint, I mean, it looks mostly fine. No, but why does that side look bad? What happened? Like, this looks horrendous. I guess I just didn't extend it far enough. You can absolutely see through that. I'm looking at the camera lens right now. I guess now that I got these arms on, I guess I can finally play with him and put him in different poses and stuff like that, because I'm not gonna lie, I almost didn't want to. Like that was painful. But I'm pretty confident that was just me being mostly stupid for the most part. If you did it the way I taught you towards the end of it, doing this isn't that bad. But the original point I wanted to make for this was, let's say you want to take off the hand, okay? Now you gotta take this piece off, and then you gotta put that on, okay? And then put that on. Now, realistically, I can already see people in the comments saying, it's not that bad. You're over-exaggerating. You're being ridiculous. Am I, though? Because I am confident I'm not the only one who has this problem. Where, let's say you accidentally drop a piece, okay? Then it falls under your desk. And then, for some reason, it's just gone. You cannot find this piece anymore. And it's not like Tamashii Nations is going to help you all that much. Because you probably are going to get this from either P Bandai, or at least some people did. Or you'll get this from Comic Con if you were lucky enough, or you got it from Big Bad Toy Store or whoever. Point is, the customer service I've noticed personally, because I import all my figures for the most part. If you didn't get it in America from a regular distributor like Big Bad Toy Store or the Tamashii Nations store, and you don't have a receipt, they're not going to help you. So as someone who imports all my figures and gets them from Japan, they don't help me at all. So if you lose this piece, or it accidentally falls off when you're in the middle of a shoot or something like that, then you're kind of SOL. Thankfully, it does stay on. That's fine. But there are going to be mistakes where, you're going to be taking it off and you'll accidentally fumble your fingers or something like that, and then bing, bada, boom, it's gone. I just don't understand, how difficult it could have been to just either glue, make more of these molds, because they do fit all the hands, and then just glue them to the hands or something like that, if you didn't feel like painting all of those. So it is nice that we have a modern version of this character, but it's not a truly modern version of this figure. It's a modern repaint, but this figure is, begging to get properly remade. So my opinion is they could have done so much better. I don't know how other reviewers feel about this, because I haven't watched other reviews of this. But as of right now, the Naruto S.H. Figuarts line has the reputation of being some of the best Tamashii Nations figures out there now. They've rebuilt their reputation, and it's really great. But now, this is an older aesthetic. You're not going to find this at a Target. So you really got to go out of your way to get this guy. But having the newer figures be so much nicer to deal with something as clunky as this. And also I noticed how, there's this wasn't even polished. It wasn't even sanded off properly or anything like that. Tamashii Nations, you could have done so much better. So I hope they do a brand new Jiraiya, because they did Tsunade and Orochimaru, and those figures, at least Orochimaru is great. Tsunade didn't come out yet. But this Jiraiya, it shows its age poorly. And it embarrasses me almost to have this next to the other figures. Okay, now I just sound entitled. But they could have made a completely brand new figure of this. Instead, they just repainted it and just said, Comic Con exclusive, go nuts. There's nothing wrong with doing that with the newer figures. But repainting an old one that's not all that great? No. No, that's unacceptable. Big Bad Toy Store is asking, I think, $110 for this. It is not worth that price. If you're not as critical as me, you're probably going to think this figure's fine. And for the most part, yeah, it's fine. If I'm going to give it a review rating, I'd give it, maybe a 7. But if I want to be mean, I'll give it a 6. Overall, the paint and aesthetics, they all look great. It just doesn't age well. This is a 5, or I guess now 7-year-old design, because we're pretty close to when it originally released. And I expect more out of Tamashii Nations now, and I have a small feeling they'll actually make a proper new Jiraiya. If they do, I'll buy it, I'll compare it, but I say he's worth grabbing to add to the roster, to your collection. I mean, he's worth picking up as a placeholder for now. I would say, keep him in his arms folded, kind of like how I am right now, because I'm disappointed. But anyway, yeah, he's okay, but I have hopes that we get a much better Jiraiya, especially with him having Sage Mode eyes, and having the 2 toads on his shoulders as options. So I'm going to end it with a fun photo shoot So if you're new and you like what you saw, you know what to do. In the description is going to be my social media. But thank you for watching. I love you guys to death. And I'll see you on the next one. So peace, but enjoy the photos.